Alright, so here we go. We've got some very big warnings about your character build in Diablo 4. Yes, you'll be leveling up and gaining new skills, but there's many hidden systems at play here that are constantly influencing your character stats. And these new systems aren't so in your face about what they're doing to your character, your resistances, and your armor as you level up and enter new world tiers. And you need to know this to avoid frustrations about your character build in the future, even beyond the beta. This will definitely help you prepare for the end game as well. And if you think you know what you're doing since you've played Diablo 3, well, you might want to pay attention even more. Things have changed quite a bit. For example, in Diablo 3, monsters did not have their own armor system. Now they do. So how does this impact what you're doing with your character build? Well, that's just one part of what we're diving into today. And to save you some time, use that video guide in the description below to skip ahead to the info you seek. But remember, I'm doing a big PS5 and Xbox Series X console giveaway, so check that out as well, and be sure to subscribe and smack that like button if this video does help you out. All right, so we have some very big changes to armor. So we need to talk about what's going on with the armor system in this game, because there's some significant changes compared to Diablo 3. It used to be that armor would oversee damage mitigation against physical damage and, of course, sometimes non-physical elemental damage. This just means that lower leveled players or players that did not focus on non-physical damage mitigation would end up in a boss battle where they would get wiped out because the boss would deal exclusively, say, shadow damage or fire damage. Now, Diablo 4 introduces a new change to armor and damage reduction through the actual armor itself, leveling, world tiers, and attacker levels. We're going to get into all of this. So get this, for whatever percentage your armor absorbs in physical damage, it also absorbs half of all that amount of non-physical damage. An example given by the dev team would be this right here. Let's say your armor absorbs about 60% physical damage. So that would mean your armor would also absorb 30% of all the non-physical damage being thrown at you. So now we have an elemental damage dealing boss, for example, that was once impossible to defeat is now more manageable. Not to say you can still beat him with no resistances built up, of course, but it definitely makes it more doable, less frustrating, and definitely more balanced. But your armor and resistances will be changing with every level you climb and new world tiers that you enter. Let's get into the specifics, shall we? So each time you climb a world tier, expect it to negatively impact your built-in resistances to your armor as you continue that climb, meaning you're going to have to get more and more creative to increase your non-physical damage mitigation. This just tells us that you'll need to hunt for better legendaries or invest in your skills and Paragon board appropriately, and of course you have the option of upgrading your current gear. I've done videos about this, by the way, so check it out in the description below. Now, as described by Blizzard, they put some 20% penalty from World Tier 2 to World Tier 3 for the resistances, so you're getting 20% less resistance at that point. From World Tier 3 to World Tier 4, they're putting players at an even higher penalty, a whopping 40% penalty to resistance mitigation, so World Tier 4 will be a lot more challenging than World Tier 3. And of course, you can also have the option of building your elemental resistance beyond just what your armor provides. You'll also be able to unlock skills and passives, and in the end game, use the Paragon board to increase your resistances even more to counter how world tiers influence your resistance. Beyond world tiers, leveling up also greatly impacts your armor values in very interesting ways. At the earlier stages of the game, you can expect damage reduction to be about 10%, but it starts going up pretty quickly, then starts leveling off in the end game at around 40% damage reduction. Monster damage is balanced at each level as well to offer a fun but challenging experience throughout the entire journey all the way up until the end game. And we're going to talk more about monster armor, which is entirely new to the Diablo franchise. So the question is, wouldn't having damage reduction going all the way up to 40% make the game way too easy? Well, Blizzard thought of everything. They want you to constantly seek out new ways to improve your character build, and one way they do this is countering damage reduction with monsters that dish out more and more damage as you continue to level up. So this chart here is based on per point of armor, describing how each unit of armor absorbs damage from level to level. At the beginning, as seen on the chart, every 100 armor can absorb all the 5% of damage reduction, but it goes down early and it slows down at the end. You could see that each of the armor can only do with 1% reduction. The reason why armor and damage reduction is designed this way is to somewhat mirror how world tiers work. Blizzard doesn't want you to be content with the armor you found at the beginning of the game or even later in the game. They want you to feel the urge to either seek out that new, fresh legendary or upgrade your existing armor and skills and embrace your unique character traits. And each class has some very unique things going for it when it comes to expanding its armor abilities beyond just the armor set that they're wearing. Just as an example, the Sorcerer will be able to use an energy shield, the Druid and Barbarian will be able to seek fortified power, and the Rogue will invest heavily in higher dodge chance, and so on and so forth. And one important thing to know about enemy scaling, most open world enemies will be scaling right alongside you. However, in-game bosses and those nightmare dungeon bosses will be offering a specific built-in punishment that you will need to adapt to and endure by investing in skills, seeking out legendaries, and fine-tuning your Paragon board. Now, something entirely new to monsters in Diablo 4 is the introduction of what is called monster armor. It used to be that with each level you gained, Blizzard would increase a monster's defense by 10%, meaning they would just keep piling on more and more hit points to that monster until you got like 1 billion hit points. Remember those notorious infinitely long numbers floating above a monster's head? Well, those are gone because the system has been completely reworked. Instead, monster armor has been added and works like this. So at each level, monsters actually absorb a certain percentage of the player's damage. It's pretty low at the early level and it goes up as you progress, of course, but this creates an entirely new problem because this damage reduction is going up pretty fast, counteracting the player's increase in damage, meaning players aren't dealing as much damage as they want, right? Well, no, not exactly, thankfully. Instead, they have taken the damage mitigation number of the monster and it scales slower compared to the player's damage increase level over level. Meaning no matter what, although the monster is still armored up, the player is at least having some sense of progress as they are leveling up, feeling more powerful as they go. And this is a much better system as opposed to just giving out a ton of hit points to the monster's level over time like Diablo 3 did. And one of the bigger ways you can influence your character stats earlier on without leveling up or investing in new skill points is by seeking out and finding the Altars of Lilith. And trust me, the earlier you find these, the better, because you're going to be improving your strength, intelligence, willpower, dexterity by about 2 points, or you have the choice of improving maximum life by 8. Not only do the Altars of Lilith add on permanent stat bonuses to your current character, but any newly created characters will start with higher and higher stats, meaning you can level them up even quicker down the road. And get this, without leveling, if you discover 4 altars of strength, for example, that's going to increase your strength from 7 to 15 and increase your armor by a whopping 15 points. So you can just see how much of a difference these altars can make, so neglecting them would not be a good idea at all before heading into the end game. You're going to need every resource you can get your hands on. And another way to earn skill points beyond leveling up is through renown points, of course. You'll earn renown points by exploring the world, taking down strongholds, completing dungeons, and more. Now, each world zone has a set amount of renown points you can earn and rewards you can collect. So yes, you can only earn a finite amount of skill points by gaining 100% renown. However, like the Altars of Lilith, obtaining renown points and rewards earlier on will be most helpful for you preparing for that in-game, and once you're in the in-game, renown points can reward you with Paragon points as well. Now remember, I'm also doing a big PS5 and Xbox Series X giveaway, so be sure to check that out in the description below, and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Now, if this video did help you out at all, smack that like button and look out for more Diablo videos in the future. I'll be covering the game extensively, so be sure to stay tuned. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.